I really felt pretty good through most of it. My feet were a little bit hurting. I think, what's really hard about this course is it's that downhill like start, and it kind of messes up your stomach. It's a little I thought last year, it was I hadn't practiced as much with fueling, but I think it was more just the way the course is. You're kind of turning, you're not turning, but you got a lot of up and down hills that kind of lead to things being a little different. So I mean, it raced well, but I think maybe next time I'll prep a little bit more on some of those steeper downhills. Yeah. But it was a good run.
And congratulations, you're a top 5 marathoner at a world major, which is amazing, and a first for you, right? We talked about your expectations a few weeks ago. How are you feeling about the result?
It was good. I think I gave it what I had today. That goal was to be top 3. I was only 4 seconds off. I lost those 4 seconds in the last 320 meters or so. But I was pretty close to second, and even close to the win. I wasn't up there competing for the win, but I was close, and I was competing for that second and third place. So that was really what the goal was, to go out there, compete for a podium finish, compete for the win, and I think I did everything that I needed to. It was just I didn't have it today, but I ran incredible for I ran exactly what I was trying to run, so I was pretty happy about that.
When John made that move about 20, was that surprising to everybody, or did you guys?
No, I don't think it was surprising. John's a phenomenal runner. If you look at his Chicago Marathon this past fall, he's one of the best in the world. I think I was more surprised there wasn't a move made sooner. I think I was expecting Evan Chibet to make a move around mile 16, so I actually kind of went to the front around mile 16 to be ready for the move. Yeah. I didn't. So when the moves were made, I was hoping I would be up front for those moves so that I could be the first to respond. However, when John was making his move, I was crossing the road and I was running behind Mukhtar Idris. And then when we crossed over, I got kind of to the back of the pack. And I looked back because I knew Clayton was there and he was getting jobs, so I was kind of trying to encourage him. But then when I looked back up, John had made his move and gapped, and I was probably 8th in that pack, so I tried to go around and catch him, but couldn't do it. He made a very strong move.
That may have been one of, I don't know the exact stats, but that may have been one of the fastest American runs at the Boston Marathon. Talk to me about that and what that means to be on that prestigious list.
Yeah, it means a lot. I think that was, when things were getting really tough toward the end, I was trying to, battle for a second, and then, sometimes I was like, okay, there's a pack of 4 of us, and then it ended up being a pack of 3 of us, and so I had to tell myself, let's focus on the, sometimes you got to focus on the time to kind of push at the end. So I told myself, let's try and break Ryan Hall's time, because even if you end up 4th and you beat Ryan Hall's time, you'll be pretty happy, but it's unlikely that you'll end up 4th if you run that fast. And so I was like, okay, let's keep the pace going. However, I couldn't break the guys who ended up 2 and 3. But I think it was, I don't know, that last mile was tough. And those guys are very good runners. So.
And you look like, after John made that move, it looked like you kept putting in surges. Were you trying to break the guys behind you, or was it more like you wanted to close that gap?
A little bit of both. The first time I was trying to close that gap. I thought I was closing it. And then, we start hitting the headwind. It's pretty windy out here. I don't think it was this windy during most of the race, but it was still windy. And I was trying to close that gap initially, but then eventually I was just trying to throw in surges to kind of break the pack up. It's just hard. That's a good group of athletes there, and so couldn't break it up too much.
You've had such a strong start to the year, and you've got so much momentum going right now. I know it's an awful question to ask straight after you've crossed the finish line with the Boston Marathon, but what's next? What are the plans?
I'm not sure. Talk it over with my agent, my coach, but I want to run fast this fall. But who knows? Who knows what marathon I'll do? Maybe I'll jump in a couple track races, but I'll take a nice 2 weeks of some light running, maybe some little walking, just hang out with my wife and support her for a couple weeks.
I think you've earned that.
Yeah, thank you.
I think the last time I talked to you, we talked about the positive conversation
Oh yeah.
Were you thinking about that?
I was not actually. I was thinking of.
You should have been.
My coach gave me a plan today. It was the 4 C's or
Yes.
C4.
Clayton was telling
Clayton
us
talked
about
about it, and
What were
yeah.
the 4 C's?
So the first C was coast. Yeah, it was coast.
Coast.
Number 3 was cruise. Number 2 was it was like respond, and then the last one was close. Coast, cover, cruise, close. And so I was thinking about those, but then at mile 22 on, you're just trying to compete.
You stop thinking.
Yeah, you're not even. It's just like, what can I do to break this pack up? So.
There's a 5th C, but you pretty much executed perfectly on the first 4, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
You closed really well, and you also covered a lot of routes. That was in a highly competitive point in the race.
Right.
It was a very stacked lead pack.
It was. I ran very well, and so it's my goal was the podium, but I ran well, so I can't be too mad. I think I hit all my I had the what I wanted to do. My process skills I hit today, so
You did brilliant. Congratulations.
thank you.
Brian also finished 4th too.
Yeah.